How did you feel going into the season?
I felt really good coming into the season. I put a lot of work in this past summer. It was probably one of my best summers. And I kind of already knew, especially what I've been through from the past year, losing my best friend. I knew I was going to have one of my best seasons in my college career.
What part of your game did you improve the most going into the season?
I say the one part of my game that I improved the most probably was, getting to my spots more. And also just being more aggressive and scoring more, become more of a scoring threat. A lot of people really was questioning my scoring ability during my whole college career.
What was the toughest stretch of the season for you mentally or physically?
I would say the toughest part of the season for me was when I got hurt. So that after that DePaul game, the 4 or 5 games that I missed from Niagara and the Cali trip, it was tough because also, nobody ever wanted to sit out. And then it was a stretch of Cali where we had 3 big games and I kind of missed out on it, but I kind of played out. So, I got through that by just, trusting in God and just keep working and just like working hard, developing. And also just trying to just shake back and not rush the process of coming back from an injury because it was my knee, but at the same time just in here every day working on my knee.
And can you touch more on how your front pass or like how that affected you?
It affected me. The way my friend passing affected me real bad because it was a point in time I didn't want to play basketball no more. It was like my best friend. I was with him every day. He was one of my biggest supporters too. So that's kind of why I've seen a lot of people. Like I had like a lot of big group of people at my game show because it was just knowing that I needed that support from him. That's really what kept me going.
What was your mindset going into games from the start and the end?
My mindset going into games from the start and end of the season was really the same. I really was just trying to kill anything and kill everybody and just get the money and just doing whatever I can to help my team win football.
What motivated you when things did not go your way?
My best friends were motivating me when things didn't go my way because I knew, it's life. You're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs, so you just got to keep chopping wood and carrying water, trusting the process.
Was there a matchup that meant a little more to you?
I ain't gonna lie, a matchup that meant the most to me for real this year was Howard, Norfolk, but like individual-wise was the kid Jaden Johnson at South Carolina State. He was preseason player of the year, and I kind of he was good too. We had good battles and all, but that was a battle I was looking for.
Going into end of the season, it was your last year. How do you feel like you felt with the season ending? How it ended?
The way the season ended, I definitely didn't like it. I felt as though we should have won the year, but everything happened for a reason, and it's just. At the end of the day, I was proud of myself. I overcame a lot of challenges and question marks that I had with other people's boards or wish lists about me, and I feel like I showed everybody that I can kind of do a little bit of everything.
And where do you see yourself after this year?
I see myself playing professionally, whether that's overseas or G League. I just want to be able to take care of my family with their basketball. I was already able to get a free education with it, so I'm trying to use it for other things too.
What goals do you have for turning pro?
The goals I have turning pro is just kind of the same thing, but I feel as though that I'm at a better skill set and a better shape and preparation than what I was coming into college. So I kind of want to kill out the gate and just show them that I belong and show them that I deserve the money that I'm looking for it.
The men's basketball program.
And what was your first impression of Elijah Davis?
Elijah, as soon as he came in, we could tell that he was definitely a leader. Elijah was really, vocal. He did a good job of bringing the guys together. He was a competitor, extreme competitor. He brought it every day in practice. He was like a coach on the court. You always look for that, right? As coaches, it's easy. It makes our job a lot easier when you have a player out there who's trying to do exactly what we're asking of him to do, and he kind of relays that message to his teammates as well.
How has he grown the most since joining the program?
I think he learned his teammates. He learned his staff. He came in knowing how to run a team, but a lot of the times, especially in this transfer portal climate where teams are kind of changing every year. You have to take some time to learn each person individually and know which buttons to push. I think as the season went along and he kind of learned each person, he knew how to, bring his team together and work towards one goal. Elijah did a really good job of that.
What makes him so valuable to the system?
Everything. Elijah, he can score the ball. He can pass. He was a leader. Like I said, he was a coach on the court. He was a coach on the court. Extremely valuable. The way he pushed tempo for us, his leadership on and off the court. Right. We could send a message to Elijah, and he would, make sure that every single person on the team was on the same page. He wasn't late. He showed up for everything on time. He had a real professional approach to our program. He definitely changed the trajectory of our program this past season.
How did he handle tough moments or setbacks?
I think he's extremely critical of himself. He always looks in the mirror first, which is not common for a lot of kids in this generation. And I think he was self-evaluated himself first before he pointed the finger to anybody else. So in tough situations, he leaned on his work ethic. He'd be in the gym, the game where he didn't make enough free throws, or he had turnovers. He'd be working on that in practice, or come and watch film with the coaches. So he broke himself down to try to figure out pieces of the game where he can improve.
How high is his ceiling in your opinion? And what do you think he needs to work on to reach the next level?
Especially playing professional basketball, there's a lot of importance placed on shooting the three. I think Elijah needs to improve on being able to shoot the three better. I think he needs to get more confidence in it. I don't think he's a bad three-point shooter. I think he's not a confident three-point shooter. So I think he needs to rep it out a lot and improve in that aspect of the game. But in terms of being able to play fast, which is the style of basketball that's being played now, especially overseas or in the G League, whatever opportunity comes his way, I think he has that. He can run a team. He's a dying breed. There's not a lot of pure point guards out there. Elijah is that. So I think he has an extremely high ceiling as long as he wants to do this. And down the road, when basketball is no longer an option for him in terms of playing, I think Elijah would be an amazing coach. I think he knows the game. He's smart. He analyzes it from a different lens. He's personable. I think he has a bright future ahead of him.
What makes his story different from other players? And how would you describe him to somebody who's never seen him?
Yeah. What makes his story different? His road, man. His path was not linear at all, right? Obviously, he went to St. Francis High School locally and did really well there. Went Division I from there, then went JUCO, then went to another D1, right? Then went D2, and then came here and probably had his best year. Elijah bet on himself, right? He didn't quit. He still, stayed with it. I'm sure there was a lot of obstacles along the way. He has a strong foundation at home with his mom. You could tell she's in his corner, and it's his sister and his siblings. So it's great to kind of see how he interacts with his family. But in terms of his story, man, he's a fighter. Put something in his way, and he's gonna find a way to knock it down. So Elijah's tough. He's toughness personified, and he has the work ethic to match it. He's personable. He's a reliable person. He's somebody you want on your team. You're going to war, you're going to a battle, you want Elijah on your side.